On Sunday evenings for maybe getting on for a couple of months now, Rich and I have been sharing a series that sits under a broader umbrella of the faith for our times. And this particular series is the God you're looking for. Wonderfully, the Bible tells us he's the God who's also looking for us. And it's trying to pick up on the sense of impetus that's in many people's hearts and minds at the moment to take seriously and to look into the Christian faith. What does it mean? What's it about? Does it have relevance for me? And the Christian faith not as a system, as a scheme of philosophy, but the Christian faith as centered upon Jesus of Nazareth. So we've been looking at a number of statements, and we've got a few more to go, that Jesus makes concerning himself, that he is certain things. And that first couple of words, I am, takes us back to the Old Testament where God says that is his name. I am that I am. No one has created him, and his being is an eternal now. And he is the God who is self-sustaining. He doesn't need us to bring him anything. We don't need to feed him. We don't need to house him. We don't need to empower him. He's completely self-existent. I am, unchanging, always having been the one true God. And when Jesus says, I am, he's telling us that there is such a connection he has with that one true and living God, that he actually is God. The Bible's picture of God is as a trinity, three persons in the unity of being one, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So these are tremendous statements that Jesus makes. And we're going to pick another one of those up this evening, here in this 15th chapter. This is the part of John's Gospel where we say that Jesus is in the upper room with his disciples. Some of the other sayings have been when he's been talking with crowds, when he's been challenged by Pharisees and other religious leaders. The scene is a little bit different this evening. He's in the upper room. It's the night on which he's betrayed. It's the night before his death upon the cross. And he's speaking very personally, intimately with his disciples, those who are followers of his. So we're going to read John 15, the first 17 verses. The speaker is Jesus. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you're like a branch that's thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command: love each other. A few years ago, probably longer than I'm remembering, Annie Lennox, who was one half of the Eurythmics, released an album called Songs of Mass Destruction. I think it was the opening song on that album, called Dark Road. And in that song, she, you can understand the song in a sense through the video. In the video, in part, she's dressed as some kind of all-American superhero, kind of like Wonder Woman, but in a very, in a way that says this is now torn and tattered. So she had a character uniform on at certain parts in it, but it was clearly past its sell-by date. And other parts of the video are showing folks in the United States. So this is post 9/11 and maybe post the financial crash in 2008. So perhaps the album is about 2009. And people living lives, and they are so hard, so difficult. And it feels like the great promise has not been fulfilled. And life is really hard and tough. And in the middle of that song, one of the verses says this: maybe I'm still searching, but I don't know what that means. All the fires of destruction are still burning in my dreams. There's no water that can wash away this longing to come clean. And that's a really telling line, I think. There's no water that can wash away this longing to come clean. On the video, she's in a bathroom, sat on the edge of the bath. She's just dressed in usual clothes, but she's wringing her hands as she sings that line. No water that can wash away the longing to come clean. And you understand what's being said there. So many promises made, and I'm making a promise to myself that I'm going to make it big in this life. But my life isn't like that. And I've reached for the stars, but I've only ended up in the gutter almost. Things have come crashing down, and some of it's my fault and some of it may not be. Terrorism, wars, financial meltdown, life going south, maybe addiction to certain medicines, painkillers and so on. You see the people on there. There's no water that can wash away this longing to come clean. Becoming clean, made new. It's such a thing, isn't it? You might say, well, perhaps it is for Annie, but maybe that's quite a limited perspective or picture you're giving. Okay, well, I'll extend it a little bit. Bruce Springsteen, racing in the streets. Tonight, my baby and me, we're going to ride to the sea and wash these sins off our hands. Echo and the Bunnymen, on their song, The Cutter, they sing about the fact of, am I the happy loss? Will I still recoil when the skin is lost? Am I the worthy cause? Will I still be soiled when the dirt is off? If I wash myself and get the dirt off me, will I still be soiled? And that's just 3 songs almost at random. And it's not just in popular music, it's the subject of literature, it's the subject of movies and TV shows. People who want to be different to what they are. People who want to be made clean. Clean from all that is wrong within. A conscience that no longer accuses, but has been pacified, made clean. Guilt, shame lifted, the terrible burden gone. It's such a thing to be looking for. It's a universal human longing. I don't think those few examples I've given to us are the exceptions that prove the rule that most people don't want to be made clean or to come clean. I think it's there within each one of us. And they're just saying something that we know is absolutely true. It's why it resonates with us, isn't it? And when you listen to the song, that's a line that remains with you. There is no water can wash away this longing to come clean. And you see the hand wringing, and it expresses what's in your heart. That's exactly where I'm at. Well, in the passage that we just read, there's an incredible statement that Jesus makes about his disciples. He says, "You are already clean." The men he's talking to, he's saying you're already clean because there's a word that gets translated as pruned in this passage here, which actually is the same word, cleanses. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he cleanses, so it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean. So he's speaking about the action of the divine gardener, and he works to cleanse people, but Jesus says, you're already clean. And we might want to ask, if they were here, to ask them, guys, how did you do that? Because if we're being honest, that's what we want. It's what we've been looking for. Maybe that's why you're watching the video later on. Maybe that's why you're here in the building this evening listening. Because you just know instinctively and painfully, I need to be made clean. And it seems like Jesus just almost casually throws it out there. You're already clean. Okay, let's sit those guys down. We want to know how. What did you do? Where did you go? What were the things? What sort of training did you put yourself in? What sort of regime? Because we've tried all the detox. We've tried the digital detox. We've tried the alcohol detox. We've tried the dieting detox. We've done everything that's been suggested to us. And the ideas are coming to us left, right, and centre all the time. But it hasn't worked. Okay, I've lost a little bit of weight, but I'm not clean. How did you do it? Well, we don't need to wonder, actually. Let me read you the full statement of Jesus. You are already clean because of the message I have spoken to you. And the implication is that they have received, they have believed that message. These are his disciples. They've been with him. They've followed him nearly 3 years now. And where he's gone, they've gone. And they've seen the things he's done. They've witnessed them, the miracles. They've listened to the teaching. They've heard him say that he has come to bring in the kingdom of God, the saving reign of God. That it began now with him. It had been pictured in the past. It had been pointed to in the past by many people, but now it was arriving. And right at the heart of that reign of God is not a power that obliterates others. It's not the power of some kind of dictator. It's the authority of love. The love of the one true God, the great I am. You are made clean. You have been made clean by the message I've spoken to you. There's no longing that can wash away there's no water that can wash away this longing to come clean. Will I still be soiled when the dirt is off? Tonight, my baby and me, we're going to ride to the sea, wash these sins off our hand. Good luck, Bruce. Because I've been to that sea as well. And it didn't wash anything off. But the message of Jesus makes a person, when it's believed humbly, when it's taken into our hearts, that he is the Son of God who loves us, gave himself to the death of the cross for us, astonishingly, it hits home with a power that immediately you know I've been made clean. There's a woman, Mark's Gospel, at least others as well, tell us about her, who came to Jesus. She sneaks up in the crowd because she's been hemorrhaging for 12 years. It makes her unclean. People who touch her, they also become unclean. She doesn't want people to know she's there because, well, in a crowd, she's going to be touching lots of people, isn't she? So she comes up secretly. Jesus is on his way to raise the daughter of a synagogue leader who has died. And she touches the hem of his garment. And we're told in the Bible, immediately, she felt that she was healed inside. The bleeding stopped. The bleeding that was ceremonially defiling her. Made clean. Immediately. Lepers came to Jesus. Some he touched, others he just spoke a word. Immediately, the leprosy goes. They're made clean. You hear the words about Jesus. You believe that they are God's truth to you and to all humanity, but you realize it applies to me personally. And you take it to heart. You haven't got a clue what to say to God. Maybe all you can do is blubber. Maybe all you can do is 2 or 3 words. You're not even sure what order you said them in. But what you're saying from your heart, even if you can't articulate it, is, I need you to make me clean. And it's your love that will make me clean. And it's your sacrifice in my place that will make me clean. I don't understand all the mechanics of it, but there's a power about it. And in believing, you discover a terrible weight is lifted. A terrible burden is gone. You are already clean because of the message I've spoken to you. Well, if that's all you hear this evening, please take that away with you and think about it, consider it, take it to heart. You'll be in a far better place. This message about Jesus, but we're actually wanting to think a little bit about, I won't be too long in dealing with this, the statement that this chapter opens with, this next great statement of Jesus concerning himself, where he says, I am the true vine. Some of the I am statements, they've been a bit more obvious for us in a sense. So I am the living bread. Okay, you might need to think a little bit about that, but you can work your way into that. We all eat bread. Well, maybe you don't on the diet, the detox diet you're on, but most people eat bread. I'm the living bread. Okay, so he's something that we can internalize and will live. I'm the light of the world, a bright shining light. We want to be in the light. We don't want to be in the dark. I'm the resurrection and the life. I'm the gate for the sheep. In fact, I'm the good shepherd. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. This metaphor is just a little bit more puzzling at first sight. I am the true vine. So has there been a fake vine? Or has there been a vine that was prophetic, predictive? It was kind of like a symbol kind of vine pointing forwards. Well, the answer to that is yes. There wasn't a fake vine, but there was one that was prophetic, that was symbolic, that was pointing forward. And you find it's in the Old Testament. And it's what God says about the people Israel. He rescued them from slavery in Egypt, made them his own people, told them that he had loved them, not because they were big, not because they were rich, successful, not because they were people who never were dirty in their own hearts. They were all those things, dirty, not successful, broken, lost, enslaved. But he loved them, he rescued them, just because he chose to do that. And he says that he's actually making them into his people, into his family, and he's making them into his vine that he's planted. So here is the opening verses of a chapter in the prophet Isaiah in the Old Testament, chapter 5. I will sing for the one I love, a song about his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it of stones, planted it with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower in it, cut out a winepress as well. It's a song about God's relationship with the people of Israel. Everything that they needed him to do, to give them life with him, that was secure, that was full, that was meaningful, that was flourishing, that was fruitful. Everything that was needed, he had done. They were his vine. But here's the reality. Despite having done everything for them, building a watchtower, cutting out a winepress as well, the verse goes on to say this, then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruit. That's Israel. That's their story. The vine. What are they meant to do? Why is he calling them that? What's their place within the world? Well, it's similar to him saying to them, I want you to be a light to the nations around you. I want your lives to shine with my light. I want there to be love enthroned in your relationships. I want there not to be idolatry, but that you worship the one true God. And in that way, your life together will point others to this great truth, that they too can know this God and can walk in his ways and can live his life that he would share with them. But it yielded only bad fruit. He may have taken Israel out of Egypt, but they continually found that Egypt was within them. And that doesn't surprise the living God. They are there not as the end point, but they are there simply as a symbol, as a pointer within the story. And here we come to the place where Jesus is taking up that picture, that part of the story, and he's saying everything that Israel was meant to be by way of pointing forward, and everything that they weren't in terms of only producing that bad fruit. I am the true vine. He's saying he is the fulfillment of the place, in inverted commas, where people like us can discover life transformed by God himself. I am the vine. You are the branches. Branches are what bear the fruit. There's a connection. Life comes, sap rises through the vine out to the branches. It's a wonderful picture. He is saying life comes from me. You're already clean. You believed. You've been grafted into the vine, so to speak. And, well, God may have to do some pruning work with you. And it may be tough at times. But actually, it'll simply be the expression of his love. But here is the source of life. The true vine. It's Jesus himself. Do you know, in so many ways, he's said the same thing, hasn't he, in this series? I am the resurrection and the life. I'm the living bread. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. The true vine, through which life will be communicated to you, and you will be able to be fruitful, bearing fruit for God that will glorify him. And in this passage here in John's Gospel, Jesus goes on to tell his disciples what that fruit is going to look like. There may be many different ways of describing it, but here is the dead center of it, that they would love each other. The two great commandments are these: love God with heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus tells them, and he prays about it as well in this part of John's Gospel, that people will know that God sent him into the world if those who follow him love one another. Love is the fruit, because God is love. And if God's life is within us, then that fruit will be borne by us. And Jesus says it comes by connection to him. We believe in him when we're made clean. We believe in him when we are grafted into the vine, and life flows into us. His life that is able to change our lives, not all at once, and not to the nth degree in this life. There will still be more to be done when we go to meet Jesus. But you know, this statement and this picture of him, it brings with it a challenge to these men. It brings a challenge to their thinking and their assumptions, because they've been brought up thinking, because they know the Old Testament scriptures, Israel is the vine. We as a nation, we are the vine. And suddenly Jesus is there and he's saying, I'm the true vine. So where is their allegiance going to be now? We're really glad to have been made clean, Jesus. We're so thankful for that. And you're the one who makes us clean. But you do know that we're Jews, don't you? Because you're one yourself. So you know where our allegiances lie. It's with the nation. And we're not overly keen on our religious leaders, and we gather that you're not either. And you've had an awful lot of trouble from them. But when push comes to shove, that's who we are, and that's where we stand. The focus of our hope has always been upon the nation. And he's saying to them, I'm the true vine. It's not the nation. The nation was only ever a pointer. You need to shift your allegiance. You need to shift your pattern of thinking. You need to shift the focus of your hope from the nation onto me. Life comes through not being a Jew, not by the structures of the Jewish nation, not by their religious symbols and practices and so on and so forth. A lot of those God had given, and they were very helpful because they told a story and they pointed forward. But now the reality is here. And there's the challenge. Will they accept that and hold on to him? I'm the true vine. The nation is being reconfigured around me, Jesus says. He's actually shown that in a very interesting way when he called 12 disciples. The nation of Israel was made up of 12 tribes, the 12 sons of Jacob. And now Jesus calls 12 disciples. For those who had eyes to see and could join the dots, he's kind of like remaking Israel. And he is the true vine. But it comes as a real challenge to them. He is the source of life, God's love. Only in him will their lives blossom and come to full meaning. So will they see that the roots, their real roots, are not nationalistic, are not tied to religion or ethnicity or anything of that sort, but their roots now are actually in Jesus as the true vine. And maybe you were really thankful earlier to hear of a message that says you can be made clean. And it's the message that Jesus brings, that when you hear it and receive it and believe it and take it to your heart, it makes you clean. And you might say, I've been looking for exactly that kind of thing. But it comes with this challenge to you as well. Jesus is not looking just to layer something extra onto your life, but actually, he's come to replace, reconfigure your sense of identity fundamentally. You see, if you understand yourself through the lens of nation or family or culture or racial heritage or religious background, if you say that this is what makes me me, I'd love the clean sort of stuff that Jesus is offering. But this is who I am. These things, they define me. Well, Jesus is standing as a challenge to that. Those things cannot give you life. They may have nourished, in a sense, your physical life, your emotional life, in some sense, in this world. But they can't deliver when it really matters. The nation we live in, or maybe you were born and brought up elsewhere, the family that you were born into, its culture, your ethnicity, your religious heritage, could never deliver for you life that is truly life with God himself. Jesus is saying only he gives that. He is the true vine. We have to come to him, accept his message, not grudgingly, but with an open heart, and embrace him and honor him as the true vine. He makes us clean. He gives us life in himself. I don't know if you've heard of an American senator. He was a senator from 2015 to 2023 by the name of Ben Sasse, S-A-S-S-E, a Christian man, and he's a Republican, but he stood opposed to and voted against some of Donald Trump's stuff in the senators in Congress or in the House of Representatives, wherever they are. Anyway, whatever house he was in. Back in 2022, he resigned his post as senator for Nebraska and became president of the University of Florida. In the middle of 2024, he resigned from that post because his wife wasn't well. And he said, I need to give time to my wife and to my children. He's now 53, so he'd have been 51, 52 at the time. That they come first. He's got to give time to them. Well, in December just past, he put out some news. Some people had thought there may be something going on. He put out some news that he had been diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. He's 53, has a wife, he has children. There's been a couple of interviews with him. You can see them online in these past few days. And he's talking openly about the fact he is going to die. And he's a Christian man, his faith is in Jesus. He is a branch that is joined into the true vine. But he said something really interesting, talking about all the different things that he's been going through. Remember, this man was a senator, so close to the centre of power in the United States, talking about all the different treatments he's been receiving and what it's like to have those. Talking about the regrets that he won't be there for his wife and his kids and so on, and regrets maybe some of the ways that he has tried to bring them up. He's been an imperfect dad, as every dad would raise their hand to say. But then he said this: when you feel those regrets, or when you're just bored at sleeping 15 or 16 hours a day right now because of all the drugs that I'm on, there's just such a lot of time in a hospital bed or convalescing. When you get out of the hospital every week, I'm in and out of hospital every week, I'm just bored out of my mind. Which is a question about recognizing the futility of my efforts. Like there was a time when I wasn't as bored, because I could delude myself into believing my projects were going to build a storehouse that lasted. That self-importance, the regrets about love and service and the pain, all those lead you to pray in a different way, because you have to acknowledge your finitude. He's saying, do you know what, when you're a senator, and when life is busy, and when you've got home and family and job and career and so on, you believe that your projects are going to build a storehouse which will last. And then when it's all stripped away, and life for 15, 16 hours a day, it's so boring because all the drugs are going through you, there's nothing you can do. You recognize the futility of your efforts. You have to acknowledge your finitude. And his great hope is actually, I'm attached to the true vine. I don't make life, and I can't sustain my life. But actually, it is Jesus only. And I deceived myself, thinking that I could build that storehouse. Do you know, Ben Sasse is not alone in that. Don't we do that, all of us? And here is Jesus saying, I'm the true vine. I'm the source of all life and all fruitfulness. It comes through me. You're the branches. And he's not putting us down in saying that, but he's giving us a realistic picture. Branches that can bear fruit, fruit that will last. The life of God, producing the love of God through us and for us in our relationships. But we have to be humble enough to say, I'm not the vine. Jesus, you're the true vine. All this water, it can't wash away the longing to come clean, but you, by your wonderful message, can make me clean. And the life that you pour into me as the true vine, that alone can give my life meaning. Even within that finitude, even within that sense of futility of all our efforts. You change it, Jesus. You change me. Ben Sasse is reconciled to the fact that pretty soon he will die. And it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy. And in the interviews, there is some gallows humour. He's trying to smile the best he can. But his faith is in Jesus. Where are you putting your faith this evening? What's the true vine in your life? What are you hooking yourself into? Because there is only one true vine, one source of real life, the life that lasts, the life that makes clean, the life that transforms, the life that bears fruit that will last. It's Jesus. I am the true vine. He's the one. He's the one we need to be connected to by humble faith, by turning and trusting in him.